Hey, I'm Yoad. Welcome to my studio. Today, we're going to go back in time to 1978, and we're going to mix a song using only gear that was available back then. Before we go back, let's fast forward a little bit and listen to what we would have mixed 47 years ago. We are going to record everything on a Studer A800 at 15 IPS, that's 15 IPS, that's the tape speed, and we're going to mix it on a Neve 8068, which was just released that year. First, let's record everything to tape. I'm going to insert the Studer tape machine on all the tracks, and then we're going to set the recording level. I'm going to go track by track and set the level to how I would record it to tape. Something like that. We don't want it to go to 0 VU because then we will be squashing the peaks a little bit. Let's go to the next one. Next. Overheads, very important. Through mics. We have some other overdubs. Let's go through these quickly. That's fine. We have quite a few percussion tracks. Usually, this would have been pre-mixed onto a stereo track. And we're going to emulate that by subgrouping all those shakers and tambourines onto a stereo track. Bass, really important. The bass can be at around 0 dB. That's fine. Guitars. That's fine. Next one. That's fine. We don't want to go too hot because we don't want to lose the transients.
New York looks different without you. I find that all that I want to do is close.
Let's go to the loudest part of the vocal.
This distance and how I am missing, but I feel so close to you.
Nice. Again, we have plenty of harmony tracks here, and we're just going to group them to a stereo track, and we can put the tape across this track and delete it from all the others.
Different without you. Walking around, thinking about.
That's fine. So that's everything. Now that we have everything recorded to tape, we're going to have some tape hiss, which is fine because this is going to go through all the effects, which in this case is plate, reverbs, maybe a BX20 spring reverb, maybe some tape delay. That's all there was back then. But it's going to go through the effects. It's going to get some coloration by all the EQs on the channels. So it's going to add a lot of depth to the song. The next thing I'm going to do is get a rough balance of the song. When everything is playing at unity level, it should be fine. Even the master level is decent. Vocal may be a little bit quiet, so what I'm going to do is to pull all the faders down a little bit. At the moment they're all at -6, so I'm going to pull everything back to -9. And bring the vocal back to -6. So it's already sounding like a song without any processing. And then we can start looking at the individual tracks. I had the great Jason Cooper, the Cure's drummer, playing drums here. I had OJ Shabby playing piano, and I played the rest, guitars, bass, percussion, and we have the lovely vocals of Maya. And we're going to use Clearmountain's 8068 channel for our simulation. Bob Clearmountain is my hero. He's the best mixer ever. And I owe so much of what I know to him and his legacy. I also worked a lot and mixed many records on an 8068 that used to be in the Hit Factory in New York. And I love this desk. I know my lovely Neve desk will forgive me for saying that. This one came only 2 years after, but the 8068 has immense headroom, punch. The EQ is so musical. It's just a 3-band EQ, but you just turn a few knobs and make a few moves and you're there. It's just unbelievably musical. So let's insert that across all the tracks. And now we're going through an 8068 Neve desk. So let's see what we can do with it. Let's look at the kick. Let's give it some punch. We can try and carve off some of the low mid to give the bass some space, and we're going to boost it at the lovely 60. So fat. Now we can try the high pass filter, which makes the kick kind of shorter in a way, all the air, which we don't really need. I would just copy that to the next channel and see what we have. Yeah, this one will just give it the punch. So together, that sounds pretty good. Let's move on to the snare. Now here, I really want to use the 700 because it just gives everything the size and a bit of 10K. We can try gating the snare to filter out some of the hi-hat spill, because we would have had the Kipex gate, which was very simple. It just had a decay time and ratio, which is basically range. I'm going to use the C1 gate for that, but I'm not going to use all the features, so the attack will be at 0, and the release, which is equivalent to the decay in the Kipex. Obviously, it didn't have the hysteresis like we have here. Something like that. It did have hold though, so we can use that. That's fine. And just with that, let's listen to what we have.
Letting this river gush and be wild.
Let's look at the bass. And I'm gonna do that in context. Snare is a bit loud.
And I need just a minute to be doing nothing. New York looks different.
60 hertz on the bass, of course.
All that I want to do is close my eyes.
So wide. And again, a bit of high pass. Now 700 or 1.6. It depends on how punchy I want it.
I've been walking around thinking about this.
So the 1.6 will give more of the strings and finger kind of. I think the 700 works better. And I can give it a little bit of thop. Yeah.
I feel it in every part.
Let's look at the guitar. Now here, the 350 will just make it big and wide. And a bit of top. I can filter out some of the rumble. That's all it needs. I can try putting it through the mic preamp, which is, by the way, level compensated automatically. Otherwise it will sound like that. So this is a nice feature. My only criticism so far is that when I click a frequency, it doesn't jump to it and I have to set it manually. But that's a small thing. And I'm sure that they can hopefully fix it in next revisions.
This morning.
Next guitar. Doesn't need much. Again, 350 a little bit. Bit of top.
Something.
And let's listen to the acoustic guitar, which is the kind of driving force of the song. 12K. And here I can choose between the 700, which is a little bit honky, maybe 350. But I can also use the 220 here, which is just beautiful. And here I can go for a wide 1.6. A bit of high pass without. Just more of everything.
This distance and how I am missing, but I feel so close to you.
Let's look at the vocal. 700 definitely.
Taking
Brings a
time.
closer bit of 220.
Letting this river gush and be wild.
And a bit of 12 for good measure.
And I need just a minute to be doing nothing.
We can look at the overheads. Here I want to cut some of the 700 to make it more hollow. I can add a bit of 110 and go quite radical with the high pass. And add some 12. Something like that. Let's look at the room. Some 700. We can cut the 220 to make it less boomy. That's it.
River gush and be wild.
And the tones should be louder. Let's pan them. Let's look at this floor tom for a second. Some 110. Let's cut the 350 and give it some brightness. And I'm just going to copy these settings to the other tones. So now we should have nice feels.
York looks different
Now the spiel is really loud. So what we need to do is we need to clean the toms. The way to do it back then would be to just erase the toms off tape, except for the parts where they were playing. I used to do that, and one time I accidentally erased a floor tom hit, which we had to overdub. So you had to be very careful doing stuff like that on tape. We have other means to do that, so I'm going to just go quickly and edit those tom hits roughly. The vocal desperately needs some compression. Now, there weren't any dynamics on the 8068, so we're going to use an LA2A before the EQ.
Feel close to you. New York looks different without you. I've been walking around thinking about this distance and how I am missing, but I feel so close to you.
Now we're a bit hot on the output, so I'm going to lower everything except for the kick and snare because I need that punch. Let's see how that sounds.
My time.
Was there?
Letting this river go.
And I can add a bit of 220 to the snare.
My time.
Yeah, to make it a bit fatter.
Letting this river gush.
Let's add some tape delay to the vocal because that's the only type of delay that was available back then. Maybe the Eventide could have provided that, and possibly Delta Labs or some very early digital delays, but we're just going to use a tape delay.
And I need just a minute to be doing nothing. New York looks different without you. I find that all that I want to do is close my eyes, breathe and try to feel.
Now let's set up a plate reverb. Usually in big studios you would have more than one plate, you would have two or more. Each one will sound completely different than the other. So we're going to use a UAD one and a waved one to get this variety. Let's send the vocal to a plate reverb. Let's use the UAD one.
Letting this river gush and be wild.
Bit long. Now when you would shorten the delay using the remote control, which would be somewhere here on the desk, you would hear the plate kind of rattling as the springs would pull it tighter.
So
if you like my videos, you may want to subscribe to this channel because it encourages me to make more. We're going to add some pre-delay, again using tape, because that's what would have been used back then to add pre-delay. So something like that. That's long, maybe something like 50 or something like that.
river gush and be wild.
Bit loud on the return.
So and I need just a minute
Acoustic guitars will come up,
doing nothing.
and the guitars are very, very dry. So let's send them to another plate, which could be a bit longer. So I'm sending both to auxiliary 3, and let's use the Abbey Road plate.
Looks different without you.
I like D. And this could be a bit longer.
I've been walking around thinking about
I want some compression on the acoustic guitar, and I'm going to use the DBX compressor for that. Let's use the 160.
Letting this river gush and be wild. It's all moving, and I need just a minute to be doing nothing.
Let's look at the harmonies. We want some 1/6, maybe 3/2, some 220. No, 1/6, 12. You don't need all the lows. We do need the de-esser on this group, and the DBX de-esser would have been available to us back then, which is very basic. So I'm going to use a very basic de-esser as well.
Different without you. All that I want to do.
And let's copy the sends from the lead vocal.
Without you.
We can send it more to the plate.
All that I want to do. Walking around, thinking about this distance and how I am missing, but I feel so close to you.
We need something on the master track, and the Neve 2254 would have been available for us, which is basically the V comp. So let's listen to that.
And I need just a minute to be doing nothing. New York looks different without you. I find that all that I want.
We would have had a graphic EQ, so let's use the Clark for that. And I just want to filter out something nasty around here, yes. And give it a little bit more oomph.
Nothing. New York looks different without you. I find that all that I want.
Let's use the Fairchild on the bass just because we can.
It's all moving, and I need just a minute to be doing nothing. New York looks different.
I'm gonna try to swap the compressor and the EQ.
It's all moving.
And now I can add a little bit more lows. We need to send them to some reverb, so let's find a nice spring reverb, which would have been available. That's nice, and maybe we can use it on the snare a little bit as well. Bit shorter. That's quite cool. We can drive it a bit. That's nice.
Breathe and try to feel close to you. New York looks different without you. I've been walking around, thinking about this distance and how I am missing, but I feel so close to you. It's all moving.
We didn't do anything with the piano. Let's see what we can do to it. Some 350. We hear the pedal noise. But we need those lows. I can take some lows out around 60. Vocal needs some de-essing as well.
And how I am missing, but I feel so close to you. Taking
reverbs need a bit more level.
Letting this river gush and be wild.
The overheads and the room can go together to a group, and they can have some serious compression.
New York looks different without you.
So moves like that would have been possible by just calling everyone from the other studios, the office, everywhere, marking the faders, and everyone would have a job of, you know, at this moment you kind of sway the guitar down, at this moment you write the vocal, and then you would just mix sections to a 2-track tape, which would then be edited to make the complete mix. So that was before automation. So let's say I set the balance for the intro. I don't need the first phrase.
This morning,
And I would bounce that to a 2-track tape up to here, and then set the scene. Now, what may have been available is Nicam automation. I have Nicam 2 installed on this console, which is moving faders with motors. So you record the movement, and then the data gets stored on a 7-inch floppy disk with a massive old computer. I did use Nicam 2 automation system, and it's not fun, but it does the job. Now let's simulate the mastering process for this track. So this would have been recorded to tape, sent to the mastering studio, and there it would go through the mastering desk. In this case, we'll use the TG desk, which sounds amazing. And here we can use a bit of FreeK just to give it some presence.
letting this river gush and be wild.
Bit of the original TG compression. We can try widening up the stereo image.
Find that all that I want to do is close my eyes
And see if we need high pass over the whole thing, which packs it really nicely.
York looks different without you. I've been walking around.
Now, when cutting it to vinyl, we would have had the Neumann de-esser built in to the cutting machine. So let's use the de-esser we have, which is the closest to what that would have been.
Different without you. I find that all
Just to protect the cutting head and preventing some nasty sibilant squashes. And then it will get cut to vinyl. Now here we have the TG desk, but we've already used it, so I'm going to bypass that.
different without you. I find that all that
That gives everything more roundless.
close my eyes, breathe and try to feel close to you.
Let's listen to the same section with the vinyl bypassed.
Different without you. I find that all that I want to do is close my eyes.
And with, again, I find that the vocal just finds its space and everything sits together better.
Different without you. I find that all that I want to do. So moving.
Now I'm pushing the level to kind of more modern mastering levels.
I need just a minute.
That's what it would have been,
Doing nothing.
but we're not back then. So
Dark looks different without you.
something about this kick sounds a bit long. Yes. We can use a gate. Now, what we would have had on the key packs is a key in, which means sidechain in. So in theory, we could EQ the sidechain, and I'm going to do just that. That's much better. We don't need all this tail.
This morning I miss you. I feel it in every part of my bones. Something hit me when I opened my eyes. I was feeling so empty inside. New York looks different without you. I find that all that I want to do is close my eyes, breathe and try to feel close to you. New York looks different without you. I've been walking around thinking about this distance and how I am missing, but I feel so close to you. Taking my time, letting this river gush and be wild. It's all moving, and I need just a minute to be doing nothing. New York looks different without you. I find that all that I want to do is close my eyes, breathe and try to feel close to you. New York looks different without you. I've been walking around thinking about this distance and how I am missing, but I feel so close to you. It's all moving, and I need just a minute to be doing nothing. New York looks different without you. I find that all that I want to do is close my eyes, breathe and try to feel close to you. New York looks different without you. I've been walking around thinking about this distance and how I am missing, but I feel so close to you. Without you, all that I want to do, close to you. This morning I miss you. I feel it in every part of my bones.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know what to do, and I will see you on the next one.